Hello and welcome to the Watch Kaki channel, where we bring you all the good and honest watch reviews. If you're new to my channel, I remind you, please subscribe to my channel because I've got new reviews uploaded every week just for you. In today's video, we are going to take a look at the Orient Kamasu, and on my review desk we have the Burgundy dial version. This is not going to be a full-length review. Instead, I'm going to share with you my thoughts on my likes and dislikes about this watch model. So the Orient Kamasu is a relatively new diver watch model from Seiko's sister company Orient, and this one I have with me today in the review channel. It is the Burgundy dial version, and I really think this is one of the standout colors from the collection. They've got the black, the blue version, and there is also another sunburst version. That one comes in a forest green or teal green kind of dial, and these two, the teal version and the burgundy version, I think they are the showstoppers from the collection, and I'm really happy to get one in today for this video. So specs wise, I would say this is a mid-sized diver. It has a case diameter of 42mm and there are no bulbous crown guards or anything like that, so I think this one wears very sensibly. It wears nicely and may pass off as a dressy diver, and it's got a nice stainless steel bracelet. Overall, the watch has a mixture of brushed and polished surfaces, and it's got a thickness of about 13.5mm, which is pretty standard for a diver watch. Overall, the watch is very manageable, very easy to wear, and overall the Orient Kamasu has got some really nice specs going on. It's got a sapphire crystal, it's got a hacking and hand winding movement, and this time around this movement doesn't have that second awkward looking crown. That one used to activate the date or day, but no such thing on the new movement now. One thing I don't really understand though is how Orient likes to use strange long reference numbers for their watch models. This one here, the Burgundy Kamasu, has reference number of, take a listen at this one, RAAA003R. That's really a handful for me to read, so we just refer to this one as the Burgundy or the Red Kamasu. And I also like to mention that one of the reasons why the Kamasu is so popular is due to the relatively affordable pricing. The Orient Kamasus typically can be bought for about just under 300 Singapore dollars here, and I would say it represents a really good value for money because you're getting a hand winding and hacking movement, and of course you've got a sapphire crystal. And if you compare this to similar price Seiko watches, you will not get a sapphire crystal, you will not get things like a sign crown. Alright, although this is laser engraved, but I would say it is a good effort by Orient. One thing to note though, although the Orient Kamasu is rated as a 200 meters water resistance diver, it is not an ISO rated diver. So in terms of diving capabilities, I would say the Seiko divers, the ISO rated Prospect series, they probably have a slight edge over the Kamasu series. So now I'm just going to zoom in a little bit and share with you what I like about the Orient Kamasu. Now first off, I've already mentioned I love this deep burgundy colored dial. I think it's one of the rare things you see in the world of dive watches. I think most dive watches, they are blue, green, black is the standard, so it's not every day you will see a burgundy dial diver. And this one, the sunburst version, I think Orient has done it really well. It looks really good. In natural sunlight it looks even better, so I would say that's a winner for me. The dial color is just gorgeous. And on top of the lovely burgundy dial, I also think the applied markers on the Orient Kamasu, they are a winner in this category, because most of the watches in the entry level or budget category, they have painted markers, but this one here has got applied markers and they look really good. They make the watch look more expensive than what it really is. And just to add on to the applied markers here, they've also got a nicely framed day-date window. I'm not a big fan of the white day-date wheel, but I must say the frame is done really nicely. And the last thing I like to say about what I like about the Orient Kamasu is the great specs that you get for the money you're paying. At just under 300 Singapore dollars, you're getting a watch with a decent movement, automatic hacks and hand winds. You also get a sapphire crystal, previously unheard of in divers in this price category. I mean, these days micro brands are charging about $500-600, and then you get sapphire crystals, but this one here, you know, a production model, you're getting a sapphire crystal for under $300. I think that's pretty impressive. So let's move on to the dislikes that I have about this watch, my complaints about this watch. Let's start with a very minor complaint. I actually think that the Orient diver, the Orient Kamasu, should not have a 22mm lug width. In fact, I think it should have a 20mm lug width, because I think it sort of makes the watch look a little bit imbalanced. The lug width is a bit too much for a mid-size or mid to small size diver. Although on paper it says it's 42mm, but it wears pretty small. I think it's due to the fact that it doesn't have any flanges or bulbous crown guard. So due to the small feel and small looks, I think this watch should actually have a 20mm lug width. And while we're talking about the lug width, I'm gonna move on to talk about the bracelet. Here you will see that the end links, I don't know if the camera can focus. Now the end links here, they are not solid end links, they are folded. Not a big deal in terms of quality. Yes, it's hollow end links, but in terms of looks from afar you can't see, but it's just a small complaint for me. I would give the watch a higher rating if it has a solid end link. And the last issue that I have with the Orient Kamasu, the last dislike I'm going to share with you, it is regarding the crown. I have to say, everything about the Orient Kamasu's crown is just plain wrong. I don't know how the designers did it, but they've designed a crown that is just plain silly. It's just stupid. Just take a look at the size relatively to the case size. Now, the crown is very small. I measured using a pair of calipers. It's only about 6mm, and it doesn't really offer a very good grip here. There are no knurlings or anything like that. The grip is not good, and the rethreading, it's not always spot on. So you do need to put in a bit more effort to get the rethreading done. Alright, so I find this a bit annoying. The crown size is just out of the world. It's just really small. And if you think the small crown is the end of the problem, you are wrong. The crown problems don't end with the small size of the crown. Just take a look at the crown wobble here when the crown is fully disengaged or fully pulled out. Just take a look at the wobble. This really reminds me of the Russian divers I've had more than 10 years ago. The wobble is just crazy. Alright, it doesn't affect the time setting. Alright, it doesn't affect, it works well. Time setting, day-date settings, they are good, but if you take a look at the crown wobble, I would say this is really disappointing. Orient, you should do a better job with this problem here. And here's a wrist shot of the Orient Kamasu on my wrist. My wrist is about 17 centimeters, that's around 6.8 inches, and I must say the Kamasu wears very well, fits really well. I feel very comfortable when I wear this watch. This is on the stock bracelet. I managed to get a very good fitting on it. Now, many owners may complain that the lug width tapers too little. It tapers from 22 to 20mm at the buckle or clasp end, but for me, I think it's not an issue. It's very comfortable. Rather, I would wish that it has a slightly smaller lug width. 20mm would look just right for this watch. So there you have it, the Orient Kamasu diver. This is the burgundy dial version. I really love the color. I think it's very unique. You get plenty of blue dials, black dials, even green dials, but for burgundy it is not so common, and I think it has a place in any diver watch collector's collection. So if you like this watch, if you like this video, if you like George, come back here more often. I've got reviews uploaded every week just for you. See ya, bye bye. So we've got the Orient Kamasu diver, and this one here has a reference number of RAAA12345. I don't know what the hell I'm saying. Reference number for this watch is RAAA001230007 James Bond. Bye bye. RAAA0003R4A512345678.